are Memory Apata and Liz Berndt-Morris. Memory Apata is the Music and Performing Arts Librarian at Dartmouth College and is the NEMLA newsletter editor. She has a BA in Voice and German and is working on her master's degrees in Liberal Studies and Librarianship from Dartmouth College and Simmons University. She is a 2018 recipient of the Kevin Freeman Award and the Bibliothek and Information Deutschland grant. Her book chapter on the sing-ins appears in Scholarship in the Sandbox, published by ACRL. Memory performs in musical theater, opera, and with her jazz group in the Upper Valley of New Hampshire. Liz is the Reference and Research Services Librarian at the Loeb Music Library at Harvard University. Prior to this position, she was the Curator of Music at the Boston Public Library, and before that, the Music Librarian at Central Michigan University. She has an MLS with a Music Librarianship specialization from Indiana University.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I'm very nervous, but mostly because I lost my husband's coffee cup, so if you find it, you can give it to me. It has a blue cap. He's gonna kill me. So I'm here today to talk to you about a new working group in NEMLA, and I'm also short, so let's make an adjustment here. So Liz and I are going to tag team this presentation. I'm going to give some background on why we are doing this work and how the topic came to rise. And Liz is going to talk about our plan moving forward. So I don't know how many of you were able to attend MLA last year, but there was an excellent session given called Destroying Music Libraries. This was a session given by Kathleen De Laurenti and our own Ann Rhodes of Yale fame, Sandy Rodriguez and Matthew Vest from LA. And their presentation asked us to do some imagining about, as librarians, what would we do to ensure that our profession died? So this was a threefold approach. It's called the TRIZ approach. You can look at it online. Just Google TRIZ, T-R-I-Z. And the first question that they posed was, if you were invested in ensuring that music librarianship did not continue as a profession, what would you do to ensure it ended? And this resulted in a document that is miles long. It's Googleable. Just Google Destroying Music Libraries and you will find it. But I took a look at this after the fact and found that there were several recurring themes. The main one was the elimination of music librarianship programs. So some responses to this question of what would we do to ensure music librarianship ended were, we could eliminate credible educational programs, especially those that are approaching LIS education in an online setting. We could, to destroy music librarianship, remove training opportunities or tracks, e.g. music librarianship and internship programs, and so on and so forth. And I think the last important one here is we could only hire generalists, meaning leave music out of the curriculum and just teach people how to be librarians. So the second half of this session at MLA 2020 was answering the question, how are we already contributing to these actions today? And we found that we are eliminating music librarianship programs. We are turning to a generalist approach. And these programs are ceasing to exist. It's a problem and we know it. So how do we fix this? This was the last bit of the session. And these were the two main ideas that came up over and over again as solutions. How are we going to stop doing these things? What are the first steps? First step, we could break down the barriers that prevent our profession from becoming more diverse, meaning reassessing applications or admissions processes that promote interns and applicants from a privileged social racial background or who fit our culture, and we could reassess our search processes, meaning who are we admitting to school and who has access to classes. And we could reevaluate the future of librarian education. We need more hands-on and practical experience. So this point, we need more hands-on and practical experience, leads us to an issue that we may run into in imagining a hybrid offering in music librarianship. Hybrid offering meaning part of the class would be online and part of it would be in person in a practicum. So there are reasons to go for an online class over an in-person class, and those might be that there could be a possible increase of student diversity if we offer this class online, and the reason being that online programs are much more likely to be diverse than face-to-face programs for several reasons. And there could be less maintenance for such a course. So we could create video content for an online music librarianship course. It could live online and have a docent who would take care of it every semester. So there would be a new instructor every semester facilitating the content. And the pros, of course, for an in-person experience are it's in person, it's real life, and also you have more opportunities to network with potential employers as a student. So what have we done so far in our little NEMLA working group on music librarianship education? Well, in May 2018, Marcy Cohen, then chair of NEMLA, reached out to Simmons University, which was going to stop offering its music librarianship course. And I'm a Simmons student, and I wanted it, so I'm very glad that she reached out. And it turns out that NEMLA has a really big impact on what is offered at Simmons University, because they were not slated to have this course over the 3 years that I've been going to school there. Marcy wrote this letter, and within a couple of months, this was listed in the course offerings again. So, well done, Marcy! So, now we have a conundrum though, because the person offering this course may not want to offer it again or teach it again. And we need to come together as a body who is invested in music librarianship to make sure that this course stays at Simmons, or that there is some way for people in our region to get trained in music librarianship. So in August, the current NEMLA board met together to discuss this issue, and we had a lot of ideas, and we decided to form this working group. And today, of course, we sat down together and started talking about the content that might be offered in this course. We continue to revisit the issue of whether we want this to be an online course, a hybrid course, or a face-to-face course. And I'm going to turn it over now to Liz, who's going to tell you our next steps.
Okay, so what we've been doing since August is looking at syllabi from some of our colleagues. We have more people that we've reached out to than just this list, and some people are working on gathering information for us from their colleagues or people who have left the institutions that we asked for information from. But this is what we have so far as our basis, and if they're in person or online. And in looking through the syllabi so far, these are the trending topics or themes that we've noticed, and I don't think any of these will be a surprise to you, but this is the kind of outline that other people are accomplishing in their courses. I will say some, Kirsten Dugan at University of Illinois is doing an 8-week and fitting in a lot of this content in an 8-week, which is kind of amazing. But this is an example of some of the content that we're looking at. Through this, kind of coming up with this list, we're going to, our next step is course objectives. A challenge with the course objectives is mirroring expectations for what that would look like online, and make sure that the objectives fit that sort of format, and also reflect the core competencies that were recently updated through MLA. These course objectives then we'll use for grants, grant proposals, and hopefully our grant proposal money we are looking for possible use of an instructional designer, consultations, audio video editing, exploring online class platforms, additional professional development related to online learning, course design, possible assessment, and whatever else we might end up needing information from. Use money towards. And one final thing, if you have suggestions for us, this Google form here, we are interested if you have suggestions for us, things that we should consider, or if you have readings related to current challenges in either online learning, music librarianship that you want to make us aware of, we would love to have input to aid in our discovery and creation of making this course possibly online or hybrid. Are there any questions we can quickly answer?
So are you seeing this course as like a platform for people who would be looking exclusively for a music job, or something that students of Simmons could use to potentially explore that avenue? It's like out of curiosity.
I think it could be either.
Yeah, that's a good question. You should send it to us in the form so we remember to revisit it in our next meeting. Other questions?
I'm just wondering if you've had any discussions with actual, music departments and music faculty, and whether they should help to be advocates, because I know we work with that constituency, and they do depend a lot on us. So what would they do without?
In which form of advocacy were you thinking, like that
Well, if there were, there are obviously music educator organizations, I would think, but in our own schools, if we were to somehow let them know, if there are faculty that we liaise specifically with, and let them know that this is problematic, and if they have any ideas for how they could help to advocate, because there's somewhat of a symbiotic relationship between librarians and the faculty that they work with.
Yes. So I actually had hoped to get a proposal together in time to have a roundtable discussion at AMS this year. Unfortunately, I'm in grad school and I didn't get it done. But I am going to AMS, and this is every time I go to a conference, I have two main objectives. My number one objective is to talk to people about this issue, because I think you're right, and the faculty at music schools should have a say in this, because they're the researchers that we serve. So yeah, I think that's a great suggestion. Anything to add? Any other questions? Okay, lightning talk over.